In Indianapolis, museums dot the skyline. The city is an art mecca. From grand glass buildings to outside art installations, Indy is an art lover's dream. But outside the city sits a wonder, an art and music space that pushes aside the standards of an art museum. Several years ago, the three founders embarked on an artistic odyssey.
We had access to the space, and it was a far cry from what it is now. It was completely empty, very mundane, and just totally blank. And so Ben and I had just speculated about the possibility of throwing shows here, and that it would be an interesting space to use for that purpose. So at that point, we talked to Matt just to see what his ideas were with the space.
I've always been interested in immersive art as a practice, and I was in grad school for intermedia art. And so I was already making these installations that were temporary pop-up installations. They'd be up for, a few days and then they'd be taken down. Colin Oakley reached out to me and they practiced at this empty, abandoned office space. And we're thinking of turning it into a venue. Would you want to make some art in the venue? And it sounded like a really cool project and a way to kind of bring in what I was already making, these installation art pieces, into a permanent venue.
The space was an old office building in the middle of nowhere, an empty, rugged space. And taking the constraints of the location and the interior, the guys leaned into the hollowness by incorporating it into the design. They built a stage, and they built installations, and they called it Healer.
It was very barren. It was very much a wasteland, and it was very much unfinished project territory. It was a lot of things that were being constructed, being worked on. So I think that potential was very much there. That gives Matt more space to explore. In some ways, fewer barriers to work with out there. So I think that was a logical and a good artistic choice to make.
I remember the first time coming here to this strip mall, I got lost, and I wasn't sure where it was. It was kind of off the beaten path, across from this factory, a very industrial kind of surroundings, and it just looked like this kind of vacant strip mall. And then as soon as I was inside here, I started thinking about all the space and the potential of what it could become.
Any given night you could come to Healer, even if you didn't look up which bands were playing, you would be exposed to something that you would have never expected. It could be hip-hop, it could be a performance art project, it could be a drag show, we've had fashion shows. People are drawn to Healer for not just the fact that you know what to expect, but that you don't know what to expect.
The space continued to evolve, bringing in guest artists and musicians from all over the country to exhibit and perform, as well as creating more space for display and performance. The people behind Healer are very involved with the community, and the community supports them by being part of the space.
Last July, this guy came to one of our shows and he talked to one of the owners, Ben, and he told him that his brother passed away and had these RVs, and his brother would have really liked the space and he wanted to donate them to be used for, however we wanted to transform them. I went out to the lot and looked at them, and there were these old decaying, RVs, and I thought the idea of transforming those in some way was very cool. We had the space out back that was really unused that we always knew we wanted to expand. Well, we've got this space, they've sat out there unused, so we started transforming pretty rapidly in order to have outdoor shows. So we're calling it the Mad Max Cats Art Park.
But I really hope people are drawn to Healer for not just the fact that you know what to expect, but that you don't know what to expect. I hope they're surprised. It elicits a sense of wonder more than anything, and it elicits a sense of wonder that's centered around this idea of a communal space where things are safe, people feel comfortable, they feel galvanized to create by the fact that there is so much creation that's exploding everywhere around you.
There are a lot of personal touches in Healer. It's hard not to walk through the space and think about all of these different people. Like a close family friend of mine passed away, and some of her objects live on here. My friend's grandmother was an art teacher, and some of her sculptures are still here. My grandmother's bedroom mirror got turned into an infinity mirror over in the corner. And my grandfather's science equipment is in one of the cubicle installations too. So there are all of these personal remnants and relics that kind of live on and are given new life and meaning in the space. And that idea of what assemblage can mean in taking objects that are disparate, maybe lost, maybe a little junky, and then fusing them together to create some whole that is greater than their parts. That idea of how do you transform the ordinary into something that is non-ordinary.
Exactly